favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom. Oh, Dilly Dilly. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
ESPN Radio is taking over ESPN News. You can now watch your favorite radio shows all in one place. From Golic and Wingo.
Oh, yeah.
To the Dan Levitard Show with Stugotz.
All right, I'm available every day. Thanks.
To the Stephen A. Smith Show.
I just don't understand this guy.
To the Will Kane Show.
It's my job to tell the truth.
From morning to night, the best of ESPN Radio is now available on ESPN News.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Golic and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
The following has been produced by Talk Football LLC. Former Florida Gators quarterback, NFL quarterback, and NFL head coach. Coach K. Stevenson has a resume second to none, and now he's sharing his insider information with you. Talk Football with Coach K starts right now on ESPN Pensacola.
And welcome into Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL coach K. Stevenson. And our special guest, Chad Brillante, will join us today as well on this Friday afternoon. Well, we got some beautiful weather finally out here. Going to be a beautiful weekend ahead. But nonetheless, we're going to talk some football with you all day here. And remember, at 12:30, we also have Inside the XFL. We'll have Coach Winston Moss for the LA Wildcats join us as well. And we're also going to have a special guest join us today, Coach. Coach Pete Shinnick of our UWF Argos.
Oh, absolutely, and gosh, what a great thrill for all of us to have Coach Shinnick on, and what they're doing out there is just beyond the pale. I'm telling you, it's not many people could believe what that program has achieved from startup, absolute zero startup, to where they are now. And what's going on out there as we speak. It's very, very exciting.
We're never going to see something like this. And I, what he's done already is historic to put your name in the record books for the rest of eternity. I mean, it was to see them go to a national title after 2 years was something. But people said, okay, you know what? Things happen once in a while. The Toronto Raptors won the NBA Finals. You don't expect them to be back. But, there's teams that find a way once in a while, but it's not the consistent part of it. This is something where 2 years later, he takes the team back and not only wins, they go out there and they dominate their competition. Yeah. And he did it in a way, too, where you put perspective sometimes in the NFL. He did it according to Las Vegas, as they do come out with the odds in the playoffs when it comes to Division II. And he's 8-0 all time in road games as an underdog in the playoff. Think about that. Think about if any quarterback was 8-0 in his history of his NFL career, went on to win a title, and did it as a road underdog, sometimes by double digits in all 8 games. That would be insanity. But that's what their team did, and it's incredible, and we're always going to be grateful of what they brought back, and I think it's just only begun. I think there's a lot more to this storybook.
Yeah, well, you say never use the term never, okay? But in this case, I think you're pretty safe to say never again will this success at this level be duplicated. I don't see how it could ever happen again.
You've been around football for a long time. I'm 35 years old. JP's younger than I am. I've never seen something like this. I don't think you've seen it either.
No, not like this. No.
Yeah, this is incredible. I mean, and once again, it's awesome because we saw them a couple years ago make it to the championship, and we thought that was amazing at that time. We were just like in awe, like, wow, we were so proud. It was almost like we had won the championship. Like 2 years, look, I went to UWF. I've said this before, when we had the undefeated shirts. They were making a joke because they were talking about having a football program, but they hadn't got it yet. So they sold out the undefeated UWF football shirts. I still have mine in the closet. mothballs and everything, I guess. But at this point, I think it's so awesome just to see that in the beginning, see when they were talking about it, and now look at what it's turned into. And I know there's so many people involved, and Coach Shinnick always talks about that. But the icing on the cake is Coach Shinnick. What an absolute class act he is.
Oh, yeah, in every way.
Yeah. You got to be careful with T-shirts. So I got one that says the same thing with UCF and then national champions, so they can sell them. Just, it doesn't always mean they're true. I just want to add that part.
Well, I want to jump into a couple of news and notes here. Coach, I want to get your opinion. We've seen this backfire on some people, but then again, we'll see what happens here. Joe Burrow stars in his first advertisement ahead of the NFL draft. Already getting him in an advertisement may not be what you think. Well, the little Nerf guns that shoot the little, I guess, styrofoam darts or whatever. He's starring in a commercial with Julian Edelman, Christian McCaffrey, Jamal Adams, and Juju Smith-Schuster for Nerf guns. I don't.
Okay.
It's not the Baker Mayfield progressive or whatever it is, commercials, things like that, or but I don't know, Coach. I ask you here because on a serious note, a guy jumping into the limelight like this, which he's fixing to jump into it anyway, whether he wants to or not, he's already seen that with some of the comments he makes and things like that. Everything that you do and you say is held almost against you. It's not necessarily for you because everybody's trying to find the wrong in you. You have a problem with him going in a first advertisement like this?
No, I don't. Absolutely not. Listen, you don't think these people look ahead and understand? It's just like the odds in Vegas on a win or a loss. The odds are that he's going to be a compelling advertising guru, if you will, because the position he plays, his expertise at it, where he's going to be drafted, his looks, he's articulate, he's humble, he's got a lot. I think he's going to appeal to I think as they look at him, Wall Street, the marketers look at him a lot like they look at Peyton Manning. That would be my guess. So is it surprising that he's there? No, what was surprising was what Baker Mayfield got and was on all the time. But with him, no, I don't doubt that at all.
No, get whatever you can, because you never know what's going to be the next day. And frankly, I can't stand mustard. But if somebody came to me, which they're not, and it would actually tell their marketing firm it would be a bad ploy. There's people that can sell it better than I can and more famous, and they're like, who's that guy on the TV? But Grey Poupon, if they came to me and was like, we're going to pay you this, a huge chunk of money, 7 figures, to be standing there with a bottle, I would be a huge fan of mustard. I'd wear T-shirts with it, and I can't stand this stuff. But Joe Burrow's getting a piece of it. I'm just more – what I read from that is – who was the marketing firm, though, that thought Juju Smith-Schuster was going to help sell? I could think of other names before that on the list. That's what I got from that. But, to each is their own, so good for him. Good for him.
Well, hats off to Nerf, I guess, of all people to get him for the first time. But moving on this, Coach, we talk about this every day. It's our Tom Brady tracker. Well, not a whole lot to talk about as of where he's going today, believe it or not. But Mike Vrabel did come out. Remember, he FaceTimed when he was at the college game with Julian Edelman there, where Edelman said some things that Tom Brady didn't seem to agree with. But anyway, Tom Brady was FaceTime with Mike Vrabel. Everybody said, well, there you go. He's going to Tennessee, which, well, that could happen. But Mike Vrabel came out and said, listen, you guys are reading way too much into this. He said that conversation, it's among friends. We're just a bunch of guys you forget. We go back to 2001 together. He goes, this is no different than a conversation you would have with 2 of your girlfriends on a weekend. He said, my relationship goes back to 2001, training camp at Rhode Island. We've been around. We've done everything together. Tom is a special friend of mine. Coach, this is kind of not what the media wants to hear after the speculation and everything, but this is kind of what we thought. This is just 2 guys, that stay close friends.
Well, it may be more than that. Let's face it. Did they think that he was going to say, you caught us, and it's a done deal, he's coming to Tennessee?
I wish. That's what I was hoping, but
not going to happen. Not going to happen. So I could certainly see where it could be, where he could be protecting their privacy. I don't know. I don't think we're going to know right up until 10 days from now, the deadline. But I still just have a strong feeling about 2 teams. I really do. Colts and Dallas. Think about what he wants to achieve and what they can offer that other teams can't. Just cannot offer.
I'm not saying this because of my team, because frankly, I'd understand. And Coach, I know you root for the Pats as well. You like the infrastructure of their team. But I wouldn't – if he leaves, that'd be okay based on he asked and they gave him nothing. They tried. They made the wrong decisions last year with Sanu, with N'Keal Harry, who couldn't read the playbook. I just look right now and say I do believe that regardless of what the media is telling you, and I know you're reporting this stuff, but from the media standpoint, do you think for 2 seconds his house up there up in Boston is like the Pentagon? Do you think he's having conversations courtside at a basketball game? That's the actual, like, the decision maker. The things he's having, it's in private terms with these guys. When he makes these decisions, when Adam Schefter broke in, him and Bill Belichick had a nasty conversation on the phone. They're not doing a public forum. You think Bill Belichick at a coffee shop is going to make this decision in front of people? This is all private matters. Coach, you've been there with these people. Things in that regards, whether it was the 70s or 80s or it's today, are the same. These decisions will be made behind closed doors. And I think personally, they're going to find a way to bring him back. I think they'll go after a couple key tight ends. I think a guy like a Hayden Hurst from Baltimore, they're going to bring in a couple pieces, and I do believe that he is going to end up being back in New England. I'm praying on that, but I also wouldn't be shocked either way. But I do believe if I had to pick today, I think he'll be back with the Pats. That's my
well, and I wouldn't be surprised at that at all, to be honest with you. When I say two teams, the Colts and Dallas, that is if he leaves New England, because he could very well stay there. But they're going to have to put some talent around him, and they're going to. I mean, it's going to be drastic. And the other thing that's going to hurt is going back to New England. Is Skarnecki has retired, and Belichick won't get him back this time. I mean, 8 years ago when he retired, Belichick talked him into coming back, and he's done a great job. Best offensive line coach in football, but he's gone. Now, it's not like they're going to be completely absent anybody that could do a reasonable job, and Belichick will be involved in that as well. If he feels there's a deficiency somewhere, he'll get involved personally. And he could coach any position, no doubt in my mind about that. But what I'm saying is, look at what it would take for New England to give Brady, when he looks around at some other teams at what he could get. Think of what it would take to come up to par with that. You're talking about at least two receivers, at least one, maybe two tight ends. We're talking about at least one, maybe two. I think it's at least two offensive linemen. Now, one kid may be coming back from injury that would fill in for one of them.
Yeah.
But they're going to have another. You got the offensive line coach that has gone. And they've got to stay. They got 4 or 5 kids on defense that they're going to lose if they don't sign back. They will have some attrition there. Chances are they'll have some attrition. How are they going to replace all that in one fell swoop when the guy's only got 2 years now? It's not like he's a young kid with 10 years ahead of him. It's not the case. So anyway, we've talked about it. Everybody's talking about it. It is a huge deal. No question about it. It's a huge deal. This morning, I mean, that's all they're talking about on ESPN. So yeah, let's let it go. We'll know something in about 10 days, and then it'll all be over. But it's going to be a major impact on the league. But believe me, it'll make a major impact on the National Football League wherever he goes.
Absolutely. It's no doubt, and once again, this is one of the biggest off-season stories probably of all time, and it's easy to say that. I do want to move on. The new CBA, Coach, we talked about it yesterday on the show. Of course, it's been sent out to players. Players are responding on Twitter and whatever. It seems like a lot of the big-name players are saying, no, thank you, and then a lot of the other players are saying, yeah, I'll vote for this. I like this. These are not the high-tier players. Coach, I think part of this, too, one thing to remember is I wonder if, of course, these other players that may not be the big names, they almost feel like they can't express, like go on Twitter and say, yeah, I love this, because they may be ridiculed by other guys, and even the guys in the locker room that are right there with them. But nonetheless, we talked about it yesterday, the relaxed feeling they have now on the marijuana issue, how you're not going to be suspended anymore, banned from the league. Now there's 4 stages to it. The first time you get busted, there's no penalty. The second time is a small fine. The third time is a 2-week salary fine. And then the fourth fine is, 3 games. So we talk about this. The players have now found out, as they get their emails yesterday, that the new CBA won't automatically reinstate banished players that were already under this rule. And people are furious about this. But, Coach, we've talked about this. I already don't agree with what's going on in the league with it. You said it wasn't good for the league either. But for them not to reinstate guys, my question to you is that hypocritical, or did you have to do that as a league?
It may be just a negotiating point, But I'll be honest with you. I really, there's some things that are distasteful to talk about. I really don't have much to say about. I don't like it. Period. I think there's some real problems with it. But as far as the public is concerned, and as far as most people are concerned right now, let's get on with the business of football and get away from marijuana.
I mean, people are going to take it regardless. Frankly, I think it's one thing that, if it affects – to me, it goes back to if you're a coach, you don't want it around there because, frankly, nobody's ever said, I've smoked pot, and then they went and ran a marathon and things like that. You just don't want it around, especially for the job that it is. If you want to own a coffee shop and a little bagel joint in Denver, do what you need to do. But from this standpoint, there's no reason why it needs to interfere. And as a coach, you wouldn't want that to be around because you give somebody an inch – and they take a mile.
Yeah.
And that's the key here is I'm not against these people using it in the offseason if they want to, the recovery. Eugene Monroe, a very special guy for Virginia, very intellectually sound. He said that the painkillers, for the most part, were worse than if he went in the backyard and used medicinal marijuana. But to me, if you open this door up, you don't think for a second people are going to be showing up high to practice and things like this. It's gonna change a lot about the NFL and the game plan. And as coaches, I wouldn't want that personally because your job is to get the best out of your players. And I go back to saying not one person in my lifetime, and I've had friends that smoke, have ever shown up as a better or more intellectually sound or better athlete when they're high. So I want to make that clear. And that's my stance on it. But no, it's something on that as well.
Well, listen, we're up against a break right now. When we come back, we're going to hear from UWF Argos football coach Pete Shinnick. You're not going to want to miss it as you're listening to Talk Football with Coach K here on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
The Mobile Boat Show opens this weekend at the Mobile Convention Center. It's the biggest show on the Gulf Coast with the best prices of the year on hundreds of boats, accessories, tackle, and more. Whether you fish the Gulf or cruise the Bay, you'll find a boat that fits your budget. And it's fun for the whole family. This weekend only, indoors and outdoors at the Mobile Convention Center with lots of downtown parking. It's presented by Hancock Whitney Bank and worth a drive from anywhere. Don't miss it.
You can watch Coach K talk football live right now on our YouTube channel at ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL coach Kay Stevenson. Chad Brilliante joining us today as well. Well, Coach Shinnick joined us earlier today, and it's always fun to talk to him no matter what. Whether you're talking football or just Pensacola, what a great guy to have around here. But you had a great conversation with him talking about the upcoming season, almost like a State of the Union, just the attrition you face with things coming up in the year, losing coaches, whatever it may be. But you kind of hit the nail on the head with everything here, and Coach Shinnick had a lot to say. Our interview right here with Coach Shinnick is coming right up. Sorry about that. Forgot to close out something else here. All right, now we're ready. All right, Coach Shinnick, everybody.
You're good. Taking the time to come on with us, and I know you're in the throes of spring practice after an unbelievable season. An awful lot of excitement around the community as well. But bring us up to date on how you feel about your football team right now. This is after quite a successful recruiting opportunity as well. So bring us up to date.
Yeah, Coach, playing in the national championship, one of the things that does, obviously, is brings a lot of notoriety to the program, which helped in recruiting. It also, I think, has been really fun since we've gotten back to just listen to all the people from Pensacola, wherever they watch the game, and the support that we've gotten. But playing those extra 5 weeks has been really fun since we've gotten back to just listen to all the people from Pensacola, wherever they watch the game, and the support that we've gotten. But playing those extra 5 weeks really is crucial to the development of any team. We got 10 extra lifts in. We've got 25 extra practices in. There were a lot of pluses. So we came back and really only had 2.5 weeks off before we started again. And this is as far along as we've ever been as a program. When we did it in 2017, we were still a very young team and we were beat up. Now we're a mature team, older team, and this has been a fantastic offseason for us. Kent Morgan and his staff have just done a great job of picking up right where we left off, really. 2.5 week break, come back, guys are ready to go. And now we just finished our intensive off-season training. We take a week off for spring break, and then we come back and jump right into practice number 1, March 17th at Penn Air Field. Will be spring practice number 1.
Gosh, that's great. That is great news. Everything we hear, you just verified everything we hear coming from the campus out there. A lot of excitement, I'll tell you. And one critical position that everybody has to be concerned about is the quarterback position, and it looks like you are really, really in good shape at that position, Coach.
Well, Coach, you and I have had a lot of conversations about, what that position means, and obviously the significance and the importance of having someone who can do it. And really, this is only, we're going into our 5th season, really only the 2nd year where we've kind of, we've had a returner coming back, and he's going to go through spring ball. And, Mike Beaudry was available for spring ball, but he had the hip surgery, so he really didn't. So having Austin Reed, throw for 4,000 yards, 40 touchdowns, redshirt freshman, have him be ready to go through spring ball, really kind of a first in the program, being able to do that. And, as good as we've been in the past, what Austin Reed did in 2019 really puts him as the top of, some of the top freshman signal callers that Division II's ever had.
I know. It's amazing. It really is, and you got to be ecstatic about your situation with that position. That's what I'm referring to, and that gives you a heads up and a good jump on everything that you're going to do by having confidence in that position. I'm well aware of that. Perez, a kid that played for the Texas team that you played in the championship game a couple of years ago, is now playing well in the XFL.
Yeah, he's having a very good, and we, again, when we faced him, we knew he was very good. He was by far that year the best that we had ever seen. And, you know, he got into an NFL camp, and happy that he's having the success in the XFL that he's having. You know, great young man, and fun to see him continue to grow. And, you know, like you said, with our situation, you know, we did lose some receivers, obviously, that had a lot of productivity. But when you've got an accurate quarterback, it's going to help everybody. So we're excited about what we've seen moving forward, and we're excited about, obviously, having Austin, and then we redshirted Corey Wilshire. Excited to see him develop, and he's going to get a lot of reps this spring. At the quarterback spot, we do have J.C. Robles coming back, but because of his eligibility, he's got to sit out this semester to give him the opportunity to have a season next year. So we feel very good about our quarterback situation. We've got Adrian Sienas, another freshman that we redshirted. He'll be going through spring ball. And then, you know, we picked up Jay Green. We signed him out of Mobile. We feel like, you know, this is as good a depth and as experienced depth as we've ever had at the spot, looking at the fall of 2020.
Oh my goodness, I guess you are. Well, and you're in good shape with the other positions as well, and we don't have time to go into each one right now. I'd like you to commit to come back on and give us another update in a couple of weeks. But let me ask you
I would love to, Coach.
One final question. Your staff, did you lose any of your staff, or were you able to keep your coaching staff together?
No, great question, Coach. And we had people reach out to different members of our staff. Obviously, when you win, there's going to be people inquiring about different members. And our special teams coordinator, linebacker coach, Kyle Shoemaker, he got an opportunity to go be a defensive coordinator at another Division II school, Azusa Pacific. So he had been there before, and obviously I had been there before, so he got an opportunity to go back be a defensive coordinator. But we were able to replace him very quickly with a coach that had been on staff with us for 2 years. He was on staff 17 and 18, Britt Myers, and he was a co-defensive coordinator of a Division III school up north. He came back, and now he'll be our linebacker and special teams coach. So we lost one, which isn't bad considering, you know, I think conversations that were taking place with all the success that we had, but we were able to replace it with somebody who knows our system, knows our culture, and really has stepped in. He's working for a little bit. He stepped right in, and I don't think we missed a beat.
That is outstanding. Coach, I can't thank you enough. I appreciate it with your time schedule, and we'll look forward to having you back on in a couple of weeks. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it, Coach. No, thanks for having me on. Appreciate you guys.
You bet.
That's Coach Pete Shinnick right there, and just what an awesome guy with everything he's been able to do. But talking about the program, Coach, just some quick notes here before we go to break. When he talks about it, a lot of times when a team like this, remember this is Division II, this is not Division I. They already face enough things ahead of them. But, you know, losing one of his coaches, going to Azusa Pacific to be a defensive coordinator, I just talked about it a second ago. You know that Coach Shinnick gave a glowing reference, and he loves to see his guys go perform and go be able to do that. That's awesome. But it seems like they're ramping up. They got a good recruiting class. You know, Austin Reed's coming back. The star quarterback for him was a freshman. Everything seems – I know they lost some key seniors, but with a coach like him and what they did, Coach, you've said it before. When you win, it breeds success and it just snowballs – down here for UWF. It's going to be a lot of fun for the upcoming season, what it sounds like.
Well, just listen to him. I mean, you're talking about Mr. Excitement there. He's bubbling over. It just it sounds as though he's extremely happy about where they are. He's confident in their football team. It's a good feeling to have as a coach. I'll tell you, you know when you reach that strata, and it's difficult to get there, believe me, because most of the time you're somewhere down below there, hoping to get up to that point. But he feels they're at a very good point. They obviously are. And it's a lot to look forward to. And what a great hire that was by the university. And we're all happy to have him in this area.
Could not have done any better than what he's done to this point, no matter what happens. Tell you, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see what the Argos come up with next season as well. Of course, we're going to be in touch with Coach Shinnick as much as we can. I know he's busy right now, but listen, we're up against a break. When we come back, remember, it's going to be Inside the XFL. Coach Winston Moss of the LA Wildcats will join us as well as we'll give our predictions for Week 5 coming up. You're not going to want to miss it. You listen to Talk Football with Coach K here on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida.